Hello. Today we're going to talk a little bit about doing something about your wallpaper or your desktop background. A lot of times people will inevitably leave it alone or use the ones that are provided by the computer and you know, or the company that's making the computer, and that's pretty much where you stay or you stop. But I find that more and more people are finding it a lot more advantageous to actually try to get their their message across, or even just personalize what they're all about, or whether it's your company or maybe it's what you do personally in your own work, as a graphic designer perhaps, or or even nurse or whatever you might be. So having something personalized on your computer kind of tells the outside viewer a little bit more about you than what is normally given to you through your computer. I'm going to show you a little bit about what the company usually provides you when you're working with putting on something as a background to your computer. Here we have an abstract, and it's a pretty good thing to add to your computer. I mean, it's kind of cool, but is that what you want? Here's another, and another. Is that really you? Now here's two here that I particularly like, and the reason I like them is because as a graphic designer, it's always good to have your background in a sort of neutral color, or a color that won't interfere with the other colors that you're working with. So grays are predominantly the colors that you want to be using in the background. Although depending on who you are and how you think about it helping you or distracting from you, it's up to you. But that's kind of like the rule. You're going to use, if you're a graphic designer, you should have something gray or gray background, or that's going to help you. Okay, here's a nice one, but here's what is provided. I'm not sure if any of them really say anything about who you are. Here's some black and white ones that are really cool. I particularly like this one myself, and have used it as background. Here's a nice gray one for those graphic designers that feel obligated to use it because it helps them with color selections. And so are these black and white photographs. I'm going to move away from this and go straight ahead to what I did for myself, to give you an idea of what you could do for yourself. Here I'm going to bring up a Photoshop work that I set up to make my wallpaper, my wallpaper or my desktop background. If you look over here at the layers section, you can see that all the areas are in layers, and here's the majority of the background. Here you see the movie theater, and the middle section has been grayed out so that I can place an image in there. And being a sci-fi person, I placed a kind of like a otherworldly image there, and then I proceeded to do my titling of my company, and it kind of says that something big is coming, like you do see in most movies that you see out there. So anyway, you can actually do whatever you want as far as making your own personalized background. You can take a photograph of anything that's important to you, and pretty much use that as background. You can actually personalize it with your own type, typeface, or even what you want to set on there. It's just a matter of knowing a couple of things, and that's what I'm going to get down to right now, so that you can get started if you actually do want to change your background or personalize it for yourself. One of the things that's important is the image size, so we'll check that out right now. We'll notice that the pixel size is a whopping 2,560 by 1,600, and if you look at it in inches, 35 by 22. Give a little bit more, and it's at 72 resolution, and we have a 11.7 megabytes for this image, which means it's kind of big for what is really needed. But then the reason why you might want to keep those numbers and work with them is because those numbers represent the highest possible work environment, where resolution stays pretty well intact. There's no loss of sharpness and color resolution, so you want to stay within that area as much as you can. Once you've taken your image, and you've started out by making these parameters by the size, you're going to have an aspect ratio that is pretty much what's needed for most computers. And that aspect ratio, if you notice, is 35 by 22, and if you reduced it down or scaled it down, it's going to stay pretty much the same. It's kind of longer by the width than it is by the height, and it's got that pretty much ratio throughout all computers, and I think you'll do fine if you worked with those numbers. So we'll go ahead and get out of here, and the next step is, once you've got all your pieces together on your layers, you can go ahead and flatten the image. That makes it into one image. Then you can go ahead and save it. You can actually go to Save for Web and Device. I'm using CS5, by the way, CS5 Photoshop. It might say differently in earlier versions, but you go ahead and save for web, or you can save as a JPEG. I'll do that right now for you, because most people may or may not be working with Photoshop. So, but if you work with other software, the principle still applies. You're going to have a background. You're going to manipulate it if you want to, change colors, do whatever you find is artistic or valid, and then add titling to it, so you're in that area of creativity. Okay, so I'm going to save it as a JPEG, and I'm going to move it to my desktop, and go ahead and say save here, and you can give it a large file. And if I were to bring it up, you can see that it actually saved it in a pretty good resolution. And so I would go ahead and put that in my folder where all your backgrounds are. I'll go and show you where that folder is. If you go to your hard drive and you go to your library, I believe it's there. Let me see. Maybe it's not there. Yeah. don't want to steer you wrong here, but go to System, Library. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna look because I got stumped here. I'm gonna look for it. I'm gonna go to preferences, and in the preferences, you'll see desktop and screensaver. This is a Mac, by the way. So I understand that PCs, if you just right click, it'll give you a menu, and you'll be able to find a menu item that says use as desktop wallpaper, or use as desktop background, or something to that effect, and voila, you're there. You're actually there faster. Anyway, this is where these pictures go. It's in this file. It looks like it's under Apple, and as you can see here, the picture's already there. So it's in that folder that you know, that way I can just pick it out, say yeah, that's the one I want to use, and say okay, and then you got it as your background from here on until you decide to change it. Anyway, I hope this helps in some ways, at least maybe get you motivated to want to change it if you're so inclined. I think that this does give your computer a lot more personality once you do implement a new background, or one that you created for yourself. So have fun with this. If there's any questions about anything regarding this particular lesson, give me a comment, and I'll try to answer it as much as, you know, as fast and as thorough as I can. Thank you again for joining, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.